It's something about the mental resistance to recognizing that this is just how my body is. So I've always sought this greater level of healing. I've always sought this greater level of deliverance. I've always sought after God, heal my body, set me free, even trying to figure out what it is, which I still don't have a diagnosis for it, but I know what my experience has been my entire life. This is not something that came up at a certain point in life and came out of the blue and then I had to address it. This has been a lifelong battle. You're listening to the Experience Freedom Podcast. I'm your host, Ajene Gaylord, and I endeavor to educate, encourage, and empower women to embrace emotional healing and eradicate the stigma of mental health in the body of Christ. On this episode, I begin a 3-part series on finding freedom in your pain. I become even more vulnerable and transparent, if that's even possible, as I delve more into my own healing journey for my physical health. And Michelle and I will spend the next 3 episodes digging deep into this subject. So be sure to listen in. So I went to physical therapy, and the lady I'm working with now, she's actually a student. And so she's only with us for another week or so. She has a 6-week stop at our particular physical therapy location because she rotates around to different places. So anyway, she's been really great. She's helped me a lot as far as being able to connect with certain muscles, to engage the proper muscles in the proper way, which has been a big help in my progress. And so yesterday we were talking about some of the pain that I have, and she was saying that while I'm trying to build endurance, which is a part of me trying to kind of build up strength and endurance and just being able to use my body every day to deal with the pain, but also just to be able to be more mobile. She said, you have to learn how to identify how long it takes you to reach your limit. So not so much being my typical way, which is to get to my limit and kind of power through to get done whatever I need to get done.
Yeah.
She was like, you have to figure out how you can get to the limit, and then that's when you rest and recover. And I'm like, rest and recover? Like, what are you talking about? So my pattern in the past was get to the limit, but power through to get done all the things. Her thing was, in order for you to build the endurance, you have to figure out how long it takes you to get to the limit. And then once you get there, stop, rest and recover. And then over time, what should happen is the limit gets extended.
Longer.
Right. So she was like, well, what about, maybe you have to talk to your family about maybe helping you more. I was like, well, they help a lot. They do a lot of the physical laborious stuff around the house now, right? So I don't have to do that kind of thing. So it made me think about not just the physical limitations, which is where I kind of get stuck at. My capacity for life is I can only do 1 event a day. So if that requires me to go out of the home, or you engage in any level of physical energy, emotional energy, be with people, whatever, I can only do 1 a day. So if there's a day where there's multiple things, then the next day is probably going to be a day of extended amount of pain, an extended amount of recovery time needed. So for example, I went to church for Sunday service, sat through the service, which requires a lot of energy, effort, stamina, all the things. So about 1 p.m. was when the limit had reached. But I needed to feed my family, so I cooked. So I kind of pushed past the limit of what I was physically capable of doing. I kind of went beyond what I probably should have done. And so reached that limit a lot faster and then pushed past it. And so, of course, put myself in a state that was going to require even more recovery time or lead to oh man, today I'm really achy, I'm feeling a lot of pain kind of thing, which I never think, what did I do yesterday? Oh, that explains why, right? I don't think that in the moment. I'm just like, oh, I woke up today and I'm dealing with whatever. So it was interesting for her to bring it up and to explain it in that way, because I've always lived my life as a power through it. Do what you got to do, no matter how stressful, whether physically, emotionally, financially, whatever. Do whatever you got to do to get whatever done you got to get done, because nobody's going to help you and you got to do it all yourself. And I thought how well that translated what she was explaining to me physically to emotional capacity. I have come to a conclusion that part of why I'm still wrestling with my health is that I don't want to have to live with limits. I don't want to have to deal with the fact that I can only go to a certain capacity. I want to be able to physically do all the things in my mind, because my mind has no limits. My intellect, the way I think, the way I process, I don't have limits.
Imagination and dreaming.
Just the things the nuggets that the Lord drops, the wisdom that He gives, the things that I write down, like all my research and studying, like all of those things are not limited at all. But my body can't keep up with all of that. So as much as I want to do all the things, there's this limit that I get to physically.
I feel like maybe it's nobody's body could do it all. And that maybe keeping that in mind, like it's not me personally per se, but it's anybody. Right. Like that to me feels like something, right? Like it's not a defect with me. It's my expectations of what I want my body to be able to do is not reasonable for anybody, much less for me.
And on top of that, I am limited based on what quote unquote I should be able to do. That's always been this mental battle that I had, that I've told myself, well, I should be able to fill in the blank. I should be able to ride a bike with my husband at 20 years old and be able to keep up, which I couldn't do. He and I were, engaged. We were newly getting to know each other. We were riding bikes just down the street, and I couldn't keep up. And he was kind of, because he's an athlete, so his body doesn't have limits. Like he can push his body past what normal people can do. And he's looking at me and he's trying to figure out why I'm struggling with, kind of keeping up on the bike. I wasn't overweight at the time. I didn't become overweight until much later in life. So it wasn't I'm, too heavy and that kind of thing or whatever. But for whatever reason, because my body is what it is, I couldn't do it. Not to that capacity and keep up with him. I can't do it now. I can't keep up with my family on a bike ride now. So, but I'm much older, just, over 20 years later, much heavier, dealing with different, physical things. But in my 20s, I couldn't do it. In my teens, I could not. I was working at a local big box store during the holidays, during the summer, from heading into college and all that. As a teenager, I had to bring an extra pair of gym shoes to work with me to switch my shoes out because my feet would hurt so bad. So I'm doing an 8-hour shift at a retail store, right? Folding t-shirts and that kind of thing, stocking shelves. But I had to, even as a teenager, be mindful of my body is going to reach a limit. My feet are going to fatigue after a couple of hours and be so unbearable that even if I change my shoes for relief, it's still not going to help, but it's better than nothing as a teenager. So over year after year after year, reaching limit after limit after limit, and only becoming more limited as I age. It's something about the mental resistance to recognizing that this is just how my body is. So I've always sought this greater level of healing. I've always sought this greater level of deliverance. I've always sought after, God, heal my body, set me free, even trying to figure out what it is, which I still don't have a diagnosis for it, but I know what my experience has been my entire life. This is not something that came up at a certain point in life and came out of the blue and then I had to address it. This has been a lifelong battle. Of even as a child, I had to be cognizant of my physical limitations. And the issue is they're not visible. So I have normal, physical appearance,
right,
and or typical physical appearance, and yet my body fatigues quickly. From I can't hold my arms up, I can't lift things, like, bringing groceries in the house was a whole thing. Being able to carry the car seat when my kids were babies, the little baby carrier, or lift them or pick them up, or any of those type of things. Everything always requires so much more effort. And what I tell myself is, but I should be able to. At 20 years old, at 30 years old, at 40 something years old, I should be able to do X, Y, and Z, because that's a typical thing. I should be able to climb in and out of the car without a lot of effort. I should be able to open the door to the garage with my own hands without pain or pause. I should not have to assist myself in opening the door to the physical therapy office, because it's a really heavy door, and use some other kind of process to do it. I should be able to just pull it like a regular person. So there's that part of we have physical limitations because we don't have the capacity to just do anything. We don't fly, like, right? But then there's this, but at whatever stage, I should be able to, like all the other people at this age, or all the other people who exist. Like, I don't have X, Y, and Z. So I should still be able to get through a day and do more than one event. I should be able to sit up in church without my back being on fire because it's in pain, right? So as this physical therapist was trying to explain to me, number one, how I recognize once I've reached a limit, not to push past it, because that's my tendency, but then to also lean into the rest and recovery, and with the hope that over time I'll build endurance. That's a lot of work. And I've been resistant to that because I just want it done and over with. I don't want to have to build my life around, I can only do one event. When I look at my calendar, I have to be mindful of, I have class tonight, so that means I can't do anything else until it's time for class, because I have to conserve all of my energy, all of my physical capacity for that one thing. So this is the stage, I think, in my healing journey where I have to start to look at it differently. All up until this time, my request of the Lord is, heal me. And I know that he has the power, ability, capacity to do so. He is a healer. He is a deliverer. He is a restorer. So there is no question about him, his character, his power, his capacity. What I've struggled with is that even in my request, I didn't get what I thought I should get, or it didn't come the way I thought it should come, or I didn't receive what I thought I should have. And that has been the challenge with, even in his capacity, even in his power, even in who he is, if I'm not getting what I think I should get, does that change who he is at all? Absolutely not. Does that make him less of a healer because I'm not, quote unquote, healed? Absolutely not. So if that's still my station today, then what is he trying to show me? Is this something he wants me, he wants to reveal to me about himself? Is it something that he wants to reveal to me about me? Is it something he wants to reveal to me about this phenomenon of healing and restoration and deliverance and this life that we live? Like, what is it? Because it isn't because he lacks power. It isn't because he's not good. So if I don't have this thing that I think I should have, and I'm not living in this way that I think I should live, it's not because he can't do it. So then what is it? And as I'm beginning to process this emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically, what I'm coming to understand, and it's still new to me, is that I don't have to put limits on my limitations. Oh, I'm talking to myself here. I don't have to put limits on my limitations, which is what I have done all up until this point. Because I've struggled with pain, fatigue, physical challenges, limitations, all symptoms that come and go, I've told myself, well, then I can't. Because I deal with this, that means I can't XYZ. I can't take that trip because I don't know how my body's going to handle that trip. I can't go to the park with my family because I'm going to get tired really quickly. And after a few minutes, I'm going to need to sit down. I can't go to the amusement park with my family, right? Because we went to an amusement park a couple years ago and I didn't want to use the wheelchair because I can walk. So I didn't want to have to use the wheelchair. So I didn't use it for several hours. And then my body reached this limit where I could not walk anymore. Physically, my legs were in so much pain. My feet hurt so bad, my back, everything. And I had to succumb to the fact that when we go to a large place where there's going to be a ton of walking, I may have to use the wheelchair. I don't like that. I don't want that to have to be my reality. I want to be able to just walk and do and stand. Like, who doesn't want to be able to stand up? Who has the capacity to do so? Right? Who doesn't want to be able to walk as far as they can walk without having to end up in excruciating pain? So what has tripped me up so long, because even at the amusement park, riding around in the wheelchair, looking like a quote unquote atypical person physiologically, the only other people who were occupying the wheelchairs were either very obese people or very elderly people. There were a few young children who had physical limitations. And so there was some actual, physical challenges that they had, that they needed assistive technology like a wheelchair. But of all the people riding around in them, none of them looked like me. So that's what makes me get stuck in, it shouldn't have to be like this.
Which that makes me think of comparison, right? Like, I have this ideal in my head of, what a 40-something-year-old, in my circumstances should be able. That word should, like,
I
stop
know, right?
on yourself, right? I mean, people say it all the time. Yeah, but that's really good to get to that and realize that, because I feel like that brings hope in a way. I mean, just from my perspective, it feels like, realize that maybe with some baby steps, you will make progress, but that you've been trying to take these large strides the whole time. Like, because I should be able to, I'm going to push myself and will myself, and then crash and burn,
Right. Like, exactly.
So instead of crash and burn every time, it's nope, found my limit. I did what I could till I had to stop. Like, in every scenario, right? You go to the park with your family. I'm going to enjoy it until it's time to stop. Right. And I will take that half hour instead of nothing, or I will, instead of thinking I should be able to be here for 3 hours, I will be grateful for the half hour that I did get and be okay with it.
That, I mean, listen, getting to, and I'm still working this out. I am not saying that I have arrived. I'm just saying this is where I'm currently at in my journey, because I still do have hope that I can be completely healed, that I don't ever have to face this level of pain daily, right? I understand that, all of us are going to face things, right? I've said so many times on this podcast how we're in a fallen condition. We are redeemed. We have salvation. Christ did the work, all of that. And yet we are still in these physical bodies. We are still having an experience in this world. Jesus spoke in his word to tell us that we would have trouble, but he's overcome the world. So through him, I have the capacity to deal with all of those difficulties. But it's not fun, because in my 20s, I had the same mentality. I should be able to, in my 20s, take care of my children without having to reach a physical limit and I got to lay down for most of the day, right? In my 30s, same thing. My children are getting older. They're, elementary and middle school ages. I should be able to go out and about with them without feeling worn out. To where I can't do anything for 4 and 5 days after. I should be able to walk and move more than 10 minutes. I should be able to stand up in my kitchen without having to sit down in a chair every 20 minutes because my feet are hurting so bad. Like, I should be able to open a jar. I should be able to open up a pill bottle. Like I shouldn't have to. And this has been where I've been stuck for so long that I've missed the fact that there's something to be said about whether the pain ends on this side. When I get to the other side, there is a promise that I have access to. If you want to hear what I have access to, you're going to have to listen to part 2 in this series. And the life work for today's episode is going to be, for you to identify your pain points and all the ways that you should on yourself. That's it for this episode. If you have been enjoying listening, please consider sharing and subscribing to the podcast. And until next time, remember, you have been set free to live free, so choose freedom.